Hello, everyone. Welcome to the inaugural episode of the IIIT Alumni Speak series. The International Institute of Information Technology, Hyderabad, IIIT, is an autonomous institute. Founded in 1998, it's the first IIIT in India to be based on the not-for-profit private-public partnership model. Known for its world-class research, the institute offers BTech, dual degree, master's, MTech, and PhD programs in CS or computer science and ECE, electronics and communications. 22 years in running, we are proud of our students, faculty, and alumni. The Alumni Speak series is an endeavor to showcase our alumni, share their journeys, and celebrate their achievements. Today, in the first episode of our Alumni Speak series, we have our ECE alumni who are here to tell us about where a BTech ECE degree from IIIT can take you. So let's welcome Sree Divya Chitte, our first batch ECE alumna. Sree Divya, after graduating from IIIT in 2007, went on to pursue her master's degree at University of Iowa, and she is now a lead engineer in the CPU team at Apple, California. Welcome, Sree Divya.
Thank you, Meenakshi.
Joining us next is Meghna Shankar. She's also our first batch ECE alumna, classmate of Divya. And after graduating from IIIT in 2007, she went on to do her her MBA program from IIM Ahmedabad. And today she's an investment banker and a VP at Lodha Capital Markets. Welcome, Meghna. Happy to have you with us.
Hi, guys. Same here.
Next to join us is Rahul Namdev. Rahul, after graduating with a dual degree from ECE in the year 2012, went to MIT Boston to do his master's. And today, he is a co-founder and CTO of his own startup, betterhalf.ai. Welcome, Rahul.
Hi.
And joining us next is our youngest alumnus in this panel, Parv Parkhiya. Hi, Parv. Parv, after graduating from IIIT in 2018, went to do his master's at Carnegie Mellon University in Robotics. And he graduated only this month with his master's. And he's now headed to work with a startup in Boston at MIT to be working on autonomous vehicles. Welcome, Parv. Happy to have all of you here today with us. And I am Meenakshi Viswanathan, and I head Alumni Affairs at IIIT. A warm welcome to all of you, and can't wait to hear about your journeys. So let's get started. I'm going to start off with the ladies, and my first question to you will be to Divya. Divya, tell me a little bit about yourself and what brought you to IIIT.
Well, I have an interesting story about how I got into IIIT. So our first, when the first IIEEE counseling was actually in IIIT. So IIIT was actually not in my list of institutes to apply. So we wanted to take a traditional approach of getting to NIT and, and pursue engineering there. But when we actually came for our counseling in IIIT, we actually saw the infrastructure, the campus and everything. And I was so impressed that I actually convinced my father to actually make the IIIT the top priority of, the list of institutes that I want to get into. And I get IIIT as the number one choice. And I actually got into IIIT. There was some initial resistance from my mother and, rest of the family, because that's a new institute and they had their own doubts about it, and they always wanted to, like, NITs and IITs are a proven path. So they didn't want me to take a risk and go down the proven path. But somehow we convinced my mother, and finally at the end of the 4-year degree, everybody agreed that's the best thing that happened. And we're all happy, actually.
Very nice. But are you from Andhra Pradesh or are you from an outside town?
Yes. Yeah. So essentially, I'm actually from a small town called Kurnool in Andhra Pradesh. Back 10 years back, there was not a lot of awareness, not a lot of institutions. I didn't go to any coaching center or anything. So that was another reason as to why, my parents and everybody wanted to kind of take a very traditional approach, and also IIIT is actually a little expensive compared to the NITs and everything. So my mother and everybody wanted to kind of take on a well-proven path. But at the end of the day, my father convinced a deal between both of us that I would actually take a loan and, study, because I really wanted to do that, get into IIIT. And at the end of the 4 years, that loan I paid it off in a couple of months after my first job, actually. And at the end of it, my parents and everybody was so happy at it, and all the doubts were actually gone in a month. After 1 or 2 semesters, all the doubts were dissolved, actually.
Very nice. Going to Meghna. Meghna, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you came to IIIT.
So basically, I'm from Haridwar. It's a small town 200 kilometers north of Delhi. So coming all the way to Hyderabad was a great deal in itself. But before our counseling, we received a brochure from IIIT. And I think it was one of the most well-made brochure ever that I have seen. So there were profiles of all the superbly qualified professors. There were snapshots of the campus, the infrastructure, and it was really telling you that this is the place to be. A college that offers you what is the most futuristic engineering per se, whether it is computer science or electronics. It was not really, it does not really cover anything in chemical engineering or civil engineering, because that's not really the way into future, I would say. And that's completely sold us off. But it was a very far off place. So my father actually took an entire trip before my counseling. He spent around 2-3 days in the campus. He met a lot of professors, including the then dean, Mr. Professor Govindraj Jilu. And he came back all impressed. He was happy that the campus is very safe and the professors are very superbly qualified and they are dedicated, they are committed. And he also talked to a lot of senior students. He was very happy and satisfied that even when it was sending a girl all the way to Hyderabad, it didn't strike him as a question anymore. It was a great choice, and we were all very happy even at the end of it.
We are happy too. Rahul, tell us a little bit about yourself and what brought you to IIIT.
Yeah, well, actually, for me, I grew up in Bhopal. Most of my education I did from a Hindi medium school in Bhopal. And as Meghna told, she got a brochure of IIIT at her time. I also got a pretty good brochure at my point of time. But even before I got that brochure, I was kind of aware of that IIIT is a pretty good college. And so I personally wanted to join IIIT, and for me, I personally kind of loved ECE a lot. I still love it. So a lot of my friends actually keep on asking, why did you took ECE when you could have gotten into CSE? So my answer is always the same. I love it. I still love it. And in fact, if given an opportunity to go back in time and select it again, I will select ECE again. So yeah, that's how I came to IIIT.
What a fan of ECE, huh? Okay. So, Parv, what about you?
That's true.
Tell
So
me
I come from
where you're from and how you came to IIIT. And also, I want to know from you, at your time, was it CS or ECE as the first choice?
Sure. So I come from Junagadh, Gujarat, which is like west end of Gujarat, and I also spent like all my life in the city and studying there. And after that, usually I don't like to go out, but one day I went out for a function and met a friend who told me about IIIT. Then I explored more, and there were three things that were contributing factor to choose IIIT. There were a good placement, research opportunity, and ability to be in a metropolitan city like Hyderabad, not situated in some far off place. Yeah, and yeah, the challenge was there like CS or ECE. I also like the electronic aspect of it, and that's why I wanted to join ECE.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now you tell us, you have gone through an IIIT education for 4 and with Rahul 4+ years. What are the two main things that you learned at IIIT that has, helped you later in life? One, I would want you to go on the academic aspect, and the other one for life situations. So I'll go with our youngest, Parv.
Sure. So I think the main thing that IIIT has contributed is like strong mathematic background, specifically probability and how do we model uncertainty, which I think helped a lot in robotics. Also, in the third year, I joined robotics lab and I did research in robotics, and which prompted me to like explore the field more. And so that thing is, I think, the most important. Other thing is like the humanities courses that are being taught in IIIT. Like what are the ethical considerations, not just how to develop technology, but what technologies to develop are the two main things that I learned from IIIT.
That's a very interesting perspective, Parv. So on the life situations, that has really taught you something, huh? That's very nice. Rahul, what about you? What did it teach you for academics and for life later?
Yeah, so actually I would second Parv on the academics part. So while kind of, so all of us were in kind of ECE, but the coding culture at ECE is pretty good. Like, so coding culture at IIIT is pretty amazing. And what that gives you, like while you are in ECE, you are learning a lot of things on the ECE side, but the inherent coding culture in IIIT makes you a pretty good computer science engineer as well. So this is something which I really appreciated. And the second thing which I really appreciated in IIIT was exposure to research work, even during my second year, third year, and fourth year. So this actually ended up building a lot of problem solving skills in me, which I'm still using right now while I'm running the show in this startup.
Very nice, very nice. Divya.
So as far as academic parts, first is we have very strong fundamentals in terms of mathematics, and and the courses that we have, they actually help me to get the analytical skills, to take up any job going forward into the industry. So it's not like you're taught domain knowledge, but in top of it, the courses are designed in such a way that you have this growth mindset, as in like you actually tend to develop the growth mindset where you kind of tend to take on the challenges and take on any new domain that is actually presented to you. So that is something very strong aspect that really helped me. Just wanted to give, some courses were designed in such a way we had like open book exams, or so that kind of challenged us to not fear from taking new domains and acquire knowledge. As for the student life, like I said, I totally agree on the 6 humanities and, management courses that we have to take, which gives us holistic education in general. And I thoroughly enjoyed the student life on campus, very strong bonding between the staff, faculty, and the students. And the camaraderie that we enjoyed within the student council was amazing. Those are some of the best days, actually, that I will cherish.
Wonderful, wonderful. Meghna, what about you?
So I would say every course that I did was actually designed in such a way that they will make you more and more logical in the way you think. So today I am very proud of my problem solving, my analytical skills, my logical thinking. Essentially, every course pushes you to think about it rather than there's no focus on rectification. And as Divya rightly pointed out, that there was a culture of open book exam. Like you think about it. There was so much of push on that you just sharpen your mind again and again and again, and that's what really matters. In every course, even if you were to look at it, I think I was among the batch, in our batch, seven of us actually cleared CAT in their first attempt. And CAT is actually just logical thinking, if you were to look at it. And it's a very, very big feat for any one particular batch to get 7 out of 150 getting shortlisted in their first attempt.
That's an awesome.
So I think, and that's something that has always been with me. So that logical thinking, that problem solving, and analytical mindset, that never goes away. It is required on your everyday job, whatever be the field. Okay. And moving on to the life situations, I think being a part of the first batch, I was faced with the biggest uncertainty. In fact, all of us were faced with that. And we all learned to live with it and fight with it, figure out a way despite all that, because life is at the end of the day uncertain. And today I find myself in a very comfortable position when I'm talking to my clients and telling them about business uncertainties and what is the most optimistic way they can go ahead. What are the plan A, plan B, plan C? And all that has happened because somewhere I have been completely in tone in the way to think about these uncertainties. Uncertainties are not risks, they are opportunities, just waiting to be converted. And that's the biggest life lesson that I learned in IIIT.
That's a good lesson to learn. Now, I want to ask you what your career path has been now that you've learned something from IIIT. Where did you go from IIIT, and where are you today? So let me start with Rahul.
Okay, so after graduating from IIIT, I kind of ended up applying to some of the top 10 US universities in the field of robotics. I ended up getting into MIT, where I did my master's in the area of mainly assistive technologies and robotics. Followed by that, I ended up starting this my own company. I moved to India, and I ended up starting this company with a friend of mine from MIT, betterhalf.ai, where we are building next generation matrimonial platform utilizing your behavioral aspect, personality aspect, and a lot of AI into it to serve 50 million Indians going forward.
So, question for you: right after MIT, you had already started this company while you were at MIT. You worked anywhere else in between?
So actually, for a brief window of 6 months, I worked in an Indian company, a gaming design company. But the seed of this company actually started from my MIT days itself. So my friend Pawan Gupta, who is the co-founder in this company, we have been discussing on this. And then as soon as he moved to India after 6 months down the line, I ended up moving to Bangalore from Hyderabad, where the headquarters of this company is located.
So, question for you personally: did you meet your better half through betterhalf.ai?
So actually, I was married 6 months before. So immediately after coming back from MIT, 3-4 months down the line, I got married, and then 4-5 months down the line, I started this startup. So I can't say that. I wish I would be able to say that, but actually, my friend Pawan can say that because he got his better half from this company.
Oh, nice. So you have an endorsement there. That's very
Yes,
nice.
yes.
Okay. Now I'll move to Parv. Tell me what you are going to do. You just graduated.
Yeah, so I don't have much to share because my career has just started. But after finishing IIIT, I joined Carnegie Mellon because of my interest in robotics, even during IIIT days. And I did a master's in robotic system development at Carnegie Mellon University, and I just finished that. Now I'm starting to work on like autonomous vehicle, which is like the hottest robotics field today.
What made you choose Carnegie Mellon? Was it something you already wanted to go there all the time, or it was just that's a place you got into? Or
so Carnegie Mellon University has like the oldest robotics lab. It's also the biggest in terms of number of students and resources. And also IIIT robotics lab has a history with Carnegie Mellon. The Carnegie Mellon helped set up the robotics lab at IIIT, and there are a lot of IIIT students who have been to Carnegie Mellon as well. So I knew about the university while I was there in IIIT, and there were collaboration working even then as well. So it was a natural choice for me.
So it was another home for you. You had a lot of IIIT alumni there?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, very nice. Divya, what did you do right after IIIT and where are you today?
So after IIIT, I was always technically focused. So I went on to get master's. I had honors degree in IIIT in signal processing communication. So it was just a logical extension to it. So I went on to graduate program in signal processing and communications. And right after that, I actually made a switch of my domain. When I took my first job, I took a job in chip design at Intel. I've actually worked with Intel for a couple of years, and then another small company. And then I joined Apple after that. And I've been at Apple for the last 6 years.
So what do you do at Apple?
So Apple, I work in the CPU team. Currently, I've actually done a whole bunch of roles and whole bunch of units, but currently I actually work on the performance modeling of the CPUs. So all the CPUs that you see in phone, pads, and I can't name the devices, whatever devices we come up with, there's a single team that delivers CPUs, for all the Apple products that you put out. And it's a very small team. So it's like all the A series chips that you talk about, it's just one team that puts out. So I work in the performance modeling, but the architecture features that we want to go into, and I model those features and see how much performance each feature gives us actually.
Very nice, very interesting. So if I have anything to do, any problem with my Mac, you're the person that I'm going to call.
You have problem with the performance? Yes. Anything. Yeah.
Meghna, you tell us, what did you do after IIIT and where are you today?
So I wrote CAT in my final year in IIIT, and I got shortlisted by all the IIMs. I chose to join IIM Ahmedabad. It was a 2-year course, and during that course, I also got an opportunity to do summer internship at JP Morgan in Singapore. That was my first real exposure to the financial markets, and I fell in love with them. Then the year 2009 happened, and for a change, I thought I should also give a try to consulting. So I joined Feedback Infra, where I advised business corporates like Indorama Group, JCB, or you might have heard of the regional chain of hospitals, Sahyadri Hospitals, based out of Pune, and many of the likes. And the love continued, and so did the life. And then I got married, and I had kids, and there were maternal breaks, and there were lots of logistic issues with respect to travel. I took some break, and then today I am an investment banker with Lodha Capital Markets. I'm into capital fundraising. I essentially advise private companies how to raise funds. And if required, if it's a second generation, third generation business, then how do they sell off to a much more interested strategic partner? So I'm leading the consumer practice in my company right now. Consumer includes packaged foods, retail, and everything. My team recently advised Godrej Group on sale of Nature's Basket to RPSG, Spencer's Retail, more commonly known as. So that's what it is. It is about selling businesses essentially.
Good. Now you tell me, there is a question that I wanted to ask you. What made you go for an MBA after taking a technical course for your undergraduate?
So honestly, when I was choosing engineering, I did not really think that far that I want to go into research, or will I directly join a job, or will I go into a management. It was more my love for math and a little bit of physics maybe, but mainly math, that made me choose that engineering is the line where I would pursue the next step in. And I think somewhere around second year, third year, when in the college life, you are exposed to a lot of things. You end up doing everything. You form new relationships. You are managing the entire batch. There are councils. There are so many representatives. There are sports tournaments. There are cultural events. And I found myself enjoying to lead teams. Essentially, motivating people, inspiring people that come out. Let's do something other than a catch. Let's participate into a Rangoli competition, or let's make a throwball team and represent IIIT into various colleges. Why should our team not go? Or even sometimes negotiating with professors and faculty members to understand why we should not be allowed a particular food menu in a mess, or why we should actually be able to negotiate better rates to use the stadium just next to us. And also the other thing that was that I also realized, that I am a more people person. I need to talk to people to get things done. I don't like literally to sit in a room and think about a problem. Yes, there are problems. So even when I'm organizing something, there are issues that are going at the back of your mind when you're sleeping. But then it is very different. And that's when I realized that maybe more detailed technical is not really my cup of tea. And I thought about management. So there were a group of us in our batch, and we went for collective coaching. It was going on all fine. In fact, to be frank, I had not really expected all 6 IIM shortlists. But I think when you are stress-free, when you're confident, that's when you lead your life the best. And it just went on like that.
Very nice. That's an interesting perspective, that you are a people person and you realize that, and that took you to management. Parv, I have a question for you. What, according to you, is the USP of IIIT ECE? And is that something that pushed you towards doing your master's?
So yeah, there are 3 things that I consider to be USP of IIIT. The first one is like flexibility to choose courses. Although there are some core courses that people have to take in first and second year, the third and fourth years allow students to have a lot of flexibility in terms of choosing the course that they like. If they are into computer science stuff, then they can choose those courses. If they are into chip design, VLSI design, they can choose those courses. If they are into signal processing, they can choose those courses. So that's really a great way to specialize even while being in BTech. And also the research opportunity, you can join a research lab and pursue research. Like true research is like pretty unique to IIIT. I don't think any other universities in India allows for undergrad research. And that is a great opportunity just to get taste of how the research is and if you want to pursue research in future. And finally, the last thing is the strong fundamentals of math, which are useful in like multiple fields as we go uh, along in the career.
So this made you think of getting another degree, pursuing it deeper rather than taking up a job through placement. Is that these things that IIIT had allowed you to explore?
Yeah, so because I took the courses related to robotics because my interest was there, I got the taste of that, and then I realized that I wanted to learn more about that field, and that prompted me to pursue masters in robotics.
Okay, that's that's a good thing that it spurred you to go on and get another degree and learn something more deeper. Rahul, I have a question for you. How valuable or helpful was the experience of working with research labs at IIIT in pursuing your future goal? And how much of the ECE really helped you there?
Actually, a lot. Uh, so even before, so I reached to fourth year, I had published a research paper in IIIT, and over the course of next 2 years, I ended up publishing 2 more research paper. So
Even while you were in IIIT undergrad?
Yeah, so one paper was published even then, and then two papers during my master's in IIIT.
Okay.
So the reason why I'm mentioning about these things is because once I joined MIT on one day, Professor John Leonard from my lab actually took me to, you can say, coffee meeting or pizza meeting, and then at that point of time, he told me that you were admitted to MIT because of your good academics as well as you have published some amazing research paper. So I don't want to say anything else. Like the IIIT itself kind of gives you amazing research foundational background, and using that background, you can excel in any research you want to do in any university in the world. So that is one thing. And then uh, about the ECE part, it like IIIT gives you good knowledge. Like ECE gives you good knowledge on both ECE as well as computer science. So what happened during my project in MIT? It was about building a very interactive, highly intuitive platform for blind people using a braille device. So where I had to put in my knowledge of electronics in terms of building a circuitry, as well as I had to code something which will help blind people learn things intuitively. So my this interdisciplinary knowledge in electronics and computer science helped me a lot to execute that project.
So even while you were in IIIT, you could take coding classes, you could take electives that were meant for CS?
Yes, we could. In fact, I took many of the CS courses, such as computer vision, machine learning, and many more.
Okay. And was the same option for the CS students given to take EC courses?
Yes, they can. They can. Yeah.
Parv,
So
you graduated in 2012, and Parv graduated in 2018. How different was it then, Parv? Was it the same for you guys? Because Divya and Meghna, I think, are the first batch, so they may not have had all those choices then. But Parv, could you take CS courses? And do you know of CS people taking EC courses?
Yes, they can. There are some restriction as to you can't take all the courses in CS, otherwise there is no point of being in EC. But there is a flexibility using which you can take some of the courses in CS.
Okay. And were they of the same depth, or is it some difference in the kind of courses you could take?
No, they are the same. You will study with like in the class there will be people from different background, EC, CS, and other research background. See, the linguistics or humanities, those people will also be there.
So IIIT also has an honors program, right? How different is that program for an ECE honors? Can you do it in a CS field, or can a CS person suddenly decide he can go to an ECE lab and do his honors there?
So yeah, one of the unique things about IIIT is there are no departments like EC department or such department. Rather, there are research centers. The research centers lie in the intersection of fields, and so there's no clear distinction like EC people can only join these particular research centers. They can join any research center in IIIT and do their honors there.
And don't do their honors program. That's a very unique feature, I would say, that there this cross functionality, this interdisciplinary approach. I have a question for Divya. Divya, for somebody who's not interested in doing research, what are the options that IIIT ECE gives?
So our course structure is actually, very broad. So if you actually get an engineering degree in electronics, you kind of get exposure to chip design, communications, and and most of our courses are also very interdisciplinary. Like I meant, like previous speakers mentioned, you take courses in computer science, something in the intersection of computer science and electronics, and core classes in electronics too. So you've actually got the quite breadth of domain knowledge covered already. So after that, you can actually, you have whole range of companies that come onto our campus for campus placements, and there is no restriction in terms of what companies you can attend and what companies you can't sit for placements. It's an open selection process. Anybody can sit for any company. So after that, it just depends on the interest of the person as to in which domain they want to continue working, and take up a campus placement there. That being said, like from my experience, I can speak. Like I said, you have a pretty broad depth, right? So my background was electronics and communications, but when I did internship in electronics and communications, but when I ended up in the industry, 2009 was a bubble burst, and I was purely in the research communications. I was doing theoretical research in terms of finding theoretical bounds and more of mathematical focused. So it is like a pure getting a job in a research lab, and that's when the funding for the research labs was getting cut. So then I wanted to try chip design. I moved into chip design, and from there also I've not stuck to one stream of chip design. I've moved all across the boundary, from verification to design. I've done back end, so it's like and that's one other reason why I moved from Intel to a smaller company, because we wanted to test out, I wanted to try out every flavor of the chip design and too. So I think when you graduate with the kind of breadth that you have in terms of courses that you take, you can actually go on and take a job. You can try on different roles that you want to do, and you're actually very better positioned about making choices about what you want to do.
That gives me an idea of where all you can go with your ECE. You can go into research, but you're also equally poised to go into the industry depending on what you want to pursue. Okay, that's
definitely, because the interdisciplinary part is very strong. So it's up to the individual person about where their interest lies, and because of the breadth, you can always make a switch, and then finally you figure out your sweet spot.
Okay, now moving on to the trailblazing two who are our first batch ECE grads, and the two girls. Tell me, what was your experience as a girl in the first batch? First, I will go with Meghna. Were you at any point treated differently? And it must have definitely, progressed in the 4 years that you were there. So tell me how it was when you left. From when you came in to when you left, what was that you saw, and how was your experience there as a girl? And that too, the first batch girls.
Okay, so I think I had a very, very beautiful, very memorable college life, and I made the best of my friends there. I never felt anything wrong with that place. Okay, so even this question of that being a girl, were you treated differently? It doesn't really make much sense to me. But having said that, it was a very, very cordial environment, very supportive seniors, and very understanding professors. You could go and talk to them, very approachable set of people surround you there. In fact, I remember being inspired by so many of the senior girl students there that I wanted to excel in everything I do, even when So see, you have to do certain projects when you are doing courses, whether or not you are looking to further go ahead into research or not. But as long as you are doing that course, you have to give it your full commitment. You have to do your best. You have to excel, and that's what the kind of environment pushes you into. And it was just great. And there was a lot of friendship across batches, and there were common groups, in fact, trips and everything. And I think every year the same culture kind of grew into us, and we added more diversity in terms of more and more girls from variety of background coming in each year, and adding more and more different types of games and hobby classes, extracurriculars and outings. And by the time I left, I think it was a very beautiful family of girls, boys, seniors, juniors, professors, students, everything put together. Even the staff members, I would say, the hostel staff members, the mess community, they were all very much like a family.
That's very, very inspiring, for the girl students who might be listening to this. Divya, what was your experience? Were you treated any differently? Were you given any preferences? How safe did you feel on campus being the first girls of the ECE batch? Do you have good friends? Are you still in touch with them?
Yeah. So I think I never felt that we were outnumbered. I was actually representative, my class representative, even though we were actually just 2 girls and all boys. I actually said, why not? Why should it make difference? I contested and, I was accepted to be their representative, actually. And in terms of the treatment, I think when you go to the ACADS, you're treated as a person there. You excel, you get a mark. There is no discrimination or anything of that sort. That being said, there is a very strong, when we started, the girls' hostel was big, but the number of students were, we had 4 batches, but there were a lot of girls in, other streams also, like masters and PhD and everything. And the girls' hostel community was like a family, and there was a very strong camaraderie among the batches, that there was a strong mentorship from your PhD, masters or seniors or anything. So like simple example, you just go sit into a common TV room or anything. It was a free open forum, you could just talk about any issue that you had. And there was a lot of guidance from there, actually. And ours is an open campus in the sense that, there is no, curfew or anything for girls, nothing treated differently for us. We were actually free to be on campus, go to a library any odd time of the day. And there was actually, like, other campuses, I know that there is curfew for girls or anything. There was no distinction in those terms. So we always felt very confident as individuals, even though we were girls or anything, that we had a very strong sense of, confidence among, amongst ourselves. So it was actually very beautiful, actually. And actually, just to let me know, when you get into the research industry or chip design, again, the number of women are very less. But the experience at IIIT gave me the confidence to ride out any rough edges that we have and, come out of it with confidence.
Yeah. So you could stand your own wherever you went with the confidence at IIIT.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, wonderful. Parv, what was your life on campus like? Did you have clubs? Did you have girls? Lots of girls. These people came. I think by the time Divya and Meghna left, there were more than 40, 50 girls in the campus. I was thinking for the 4 years in your batches, right? By the time Parv has come, and that was only 2 years ago when he graduated, how was life on campus for you? Did you feel safe? Was there a good interaction between all the batches, between the girls and the boys? How was your lab experiences? Did you have curfew? Did you have anything else that changed the spirit of IIIT for you?
So campus life was really amazing at IIIT. Students are less compared to other universities, but that allows students to take leadership in the role that they want to do. There are a lot of clubs, and you can join those clubs easily without like giving audition or interviews for joining clubs. You are welcome everywhere, and there's also a pretty safe campus. You can go outside anytime you want. There's no curfew. The labs are also 24/7 open. You can visit them, do research if you want.
Oh, so 24/7 labs open for 2018. What about Divya and Meghna? It was open for you even then? Yeah.
Yeah,
And
even then it was the same.
Yes, yes. It was always, all labs were open 24 hours
oh, wow.
and library used to close in the night. But that's,
What about Rahul? It was the same in your time?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so you had access 24/7 to anything you wanted to do, depending on whether you wanted to study in the night or during the day. Okay, that's wonderful. So Parv, now tell us, I stopped, sorry for interrupting you. Tell us where you went. So you said people didn't have to audition for clubs, they could get in and they could pretty much take ownership. What about the student parliament? Did you have, I know that there is a student parliament today, but at your times, did you have that?
Yes, there has been a student parliament in IIIT, and they are elected um, every year and from different batches. And they basically try to communicate with the faculty. Like if the faculty want to promote a policy, they want students' opinion to be heard, what students have to say. And if there's demand from student side to propose some policy, they talk in that way.
So that's good. And that was there even for you, Rahul?
Yeah. So
Do
student parliament was there for me, where any issues regarding anything, like these helpful students, like who was the representative of this parliament, were able to solve for us.
Okay. Now I
So
have,
I have another thing to
I-
add here. I mean, ours is actually not that big of an institute, but not that small of an institute. So we had actually houses, inter-house competitions. So there was again a camaraderie within the house. So there were again, and the first batch, I think, I don't know, it still continues. We all had small groups and a faculty mentor assigned to us. So one thing I remembered, one of the faculty mentor that was assigned to us, we used to have picnic on the campus grounds. They used to take us home. Actually, for a small town girl who had not seen, much outside my town, that is what, when I was only girl, when he took us, like in the group that we formed and a student mentor, I was only girl, but his wife, everybody, it's like faculty and their spouse are also involved in the campus life. That gave me immense confidence. After 1 or 2 semesters, that difference is actually wiped off, That's the kind of support, faculty support that we got.
that's a very, very interesting perspective. Never heard that from.
Adding to what Divya has just said, for me as well, like I was in Agni House, and all the people, all my senior, ended up becoming pretty good friend of mine. In fact, for me, my TAs who were 2 to 3 years kind of senior to me, they are my friend. People who are 2 years senior to me are my friend, and immediate senior. And I happen to be TA of my immediate junior batch and junior to junior batch. And so because of that reason, I kind of enjoyed this lot of friends during my IIIT days. In fact, my Professor Madhav Krishna, is kind of very friendly. So I used to work during late nights, and there was only one single professor in entire IIIT who used to work at night, and that was Professor Madhav Krishna. I hope he still works. So that was also kind of very friendly. So he was always friendly, and if you have anything on the personal side, anything on the professional side, you can always discuss with him.
Wonderful. That's a very, very good endorsement for the faculty, actually. Now I have a list of questions that the students would like to ask, and I'm going with Parv and all of you, one after the other. How important is the IIIT brand, and how does it compare to the IIT brand in India and abroad? Parv, I would like you to go first.
So IIT does have advantage in terms of it being older institute and having a large alumni base. But IIIT also has, over the short period of time, just like 12, 15 years, created a strong alumni base, and in specific fields like robotics, computer science, and certain electronics field as well. I have a strong presence, and in abroad, rather than the brand, what matters is if the past student from your institute have been there, and that creates an awareness, and you are more likely to get selected. And so in those specific fields, the IIIT has equal opportunity as IIT, or sometimes even better than IIT.
Oh, that makes us feel really good. Divya, what has been your, experience of carrying the IIIT brand?
So for electronics, there was no legacy because they were the first batch. And computer science, they were just, 6 or 7 batches ahead of us. The brand is still forming. But that being said, when I moved to the Bay Area, that's where all the tech companies are. The IIIT brand is pretty well recognized among, the top companies right now, because our students have done exceptionally well and actually holding, really good positions in the top companies. So I think the brand currently, if you talk about it in the Bay Area in terms of the big companies, we are actually recognized as one of the premier institute in India.
Very nice to hear. Meghna, how is it perceived in the management industry?
So, of course, ours was among the first few batches. We were the ones who went into IIMs from IIIT, and I would like to think that we have created a very, very strong equity for IIIT across IIMs, different IIMs. And I would like to insist that the kind of exposure and opportunities and the education that you get at IIIT is one of the best, maybe better than IIT, because nowhere else you will get the kind of success rate that our batch scored in the CAT. So it was like 2% of our batch got through into IIMs, and the top 6 IIMs. I'm not talking about the extended IIMs in the country today. No batch of IIT, take it IIT Bombay or IIT Delhi or IIT Chennai, any one batch of IITs being able to send 7 students into the 6 IIMs of the India, it's just not there. So
that is awesome.
It's a very, very strong foundation. And even once we were going through the course at the IIM, there was no such thing, because at the end of the day, excellence matters. Okay, if your foundation is strong, you will excel. That's it. And once you are excelling, professors will make a note of you. Then your background doesn't matter that time.
Very nice to hear. So Rahul, what was the IIIT brand for you? And did it help you getting into MIT, and how was it perceived there? And then I'll have another question to follow up on that. Let me know.
Yeah, so kind of IIIT has a pretty good background in Boston, MIT as well. So, as Parv mentioned that IITs has this older preference, but in terms of knowledge and in terms of recognition, IIIT is not behind. So a very good brand, IIIT carries a very good brand even in MIT community.
Now, I wanted to ask you something about the relevance of the courses that you studied while you were at IIIT, because all of you went on to do further studies. Could you transfer your credits easily? Was it something that was outdated syllabus or something like that? Because you've all branched out into different directions. Tell us, was it continuously updated? Did you feel an advantage because you did the courses at IIIT over some others?
Yeah, so all the courses which I did was kind of state of the art. In fact, while I was in MIT, I ended up choosing some of the courses, for example, computer vision. So the computer vision, which was taught by Professor Jawahar, and when I took this course in MIT, it was quite easy to do. Similarly, wireless networks, which was taught by a very good professor in MIT. So that was also kind of repetitive for me. And then other 2 courses as well, which I took was kind of quite easy to do. So one of the course which I took cryptography and crypto assets in MIT, which was taught by Professor Safi Goldwasser. And that is supposed to be one of the toughest course in MIT. But I was able to do it pretty well in that course because of the strong mathematical background setup in IIIT.
Parv, how did that help you?
Yeah, so I remember Professor P. Jain saying in the orientation that IIIT prepares you for your last job, not just the first job. So
last
even though
job,
courses,
not the first job.
yeah,
Okay.
so they are trying to teach you the fundamentals of the conceptual knowledge and problem solving skills. So even though 5 years later, if there is something new comes up, you can still carry forward your knowledge to solve those problems. And even some of the courses are well repeated in Carnegie Mellon that I took in IIIT, and they were up to the same level.
Very good. Now I wanted to ask Rahul something. You branched out into entrepreneurship. How did IIIT prepare you for that?
So actually, IIIT has one of the India's largest incubator in partnership with CIE, and that actually provides any entrepreneur a lot of a great opportunity to start his company in IIIT. And IIIT as incubator has also partnered with AWS and Google Cloud, which and they kind of provide you initial credits to start any digital business. So these things are quite helpful. On the top of that, for me particularly, actually, so one of the things which really helps me is, again, I take this to the coding culture of IIIT, because of amazing coding culture in IIIT, I was aware of how to find a great engineer, or what a great coder do, like where do these good coders participate. So that's ICM, ICPC, or Sphere Online Judge, or Google Summer of Code. So whenever I'm hiring engineers, I kind of tend to hire only from this selected pool of engineers who have kind of participated in either one of them, and that actually gives me pretty good engineers very quickly. So this is something which is hiring is something, one of the biggest problem for every startup, but I have been able to solve it using my IIIT knowledge.
Very nice, very nice. Now, Parv, I have a question for you. You are the most recent graduate. So were your courses hands-on? Did you have like a course that you had to do a project, and then you learned the concepts through that, like a workshop course? Or did you have the concepts taught to you and then you did a project towards the end, in your third year or something like that? How did that, I want to know if there is a mix, or if it's, what is the culture? Or
So yeah,
some,
it's a mixed bag. The quality wants to prepare you for everything. So there are courses that purely focus on conceptual knowledge. There are courses that have like academics as well as a project component in the end. And these
okay.
are like mostly advanced courses. And then there are hands-on courses like electronic workshop 1 and 2, which every student takes, which are purely hands-on, where you build circuit, build like end-to-end system to achieve something.
So you take on and you want to build something, and the whole course is about that.
Yes.
Okay, so that gives a lot of confidence for students who graduate, because then they can handle stuff of building and doing things from scratch on their own in the industry. I think that's a very good way of doing a course, I think.
So adding to what Parv has said, actually, in my particular case, I only love doing project-based courses rather than writing exams. So, but I had to write exams; I could not skip it. So because IIIT provides you with a lot of electives, you may end up choosing project-based courses. So as compared to my fellow batchmates, I believe I have done more number of project-based courses as compared to exam-based courses. So that flexibility you always have.
All right, now I think it's about time to wrap up. I want to ask each of you this one question. What is the one highlight moment that, if you had to talk about IIIT, that you have in your mind, one in academics that spurred you, that that eureka moment, and one outside of academics? Who is going to go first? Ladies? Divya?
Yeah.
Okay, Meghna.
So I can go.
No,
go ahead,
we
Meghna.
do Meghna.
Okay. So on the acad side, I remember my first year, first semester. It was an introduction to coding. We were learning how to code in language C, and it was taken by Professor C.N. Jawahar. So I think it was the second class. First class was okay, normal. But in the second class, he basically started asking students to come up with their logic and how will they put it up. And that's when he just put the problem, and I was able to imagine that what should the steps be. And it was like, wow, I am so good at coding. I'm there. I'm right there. I'm at the right place. And especially when at that time I was comparing with my other 12th year friends from school who had joined in NITs and RSCs, who were like years away from being introduced to coding, even when they were in computer science. So that's the time I just knew, yes, I had taken the best possible choice available to me. It's the right place to be. And well, there are many moments on the acad side as well as on the social side. But I think somewhere around towards the end of first year, we had a gang of 10 boys and girls mixed, and it was spread across computer science and electronics. And I don't know how we just came together, and you would not believe the kind of mix we had, where we had 2 from Andhra Pradesh, we had 3 from Delhi, 1 from Uttaranchal, 1 from Chhattisgarh, 1 from Madhya Pradesh, and different backgrounds. Someone has 2 elder sisters, somebody has a very young sister, somebody has a younger brother, and we are talking different languages. But still, we just came together, and it was one of the best friendships, I would say. I never had such a strong friendship. And even today, we like always are in touch with each other. Almost every other month, we would have video calls, and I'm proud to say that I have friends who are 15 years old. I have grown with them. It's just a wonderful.
That is such a heartwarming story. That really is. Divya, can I hear yours?
Well, in terms of ACADS, there was one mathematics class that all electronic students take, the probability and stochastic theory. That was, for our time, was taught by Professor P.R.K. Rao. And, that was actually a class where we had open take-home exams and open book exams, and that's when I actually recognized that I have love for taking challenges, because when you used to give take-home exams, I used to get a kick out of it. That that you have a problem that you can actually use any resource, but you have to solve it. And that's where my love for mathematics I recognized from my analytical skills. So even though that prompted me to take research, purely theoretical research, and I thoroughly enjoyed doing it, even though it doesn't really translate into the industry, because my research was in signal processing and communication, but still it was finding theoretical bounds and finding mathematical theories and everything. And that was my love for subjects started there. As far as the other side of it, there's a small story I can just say. When I was in IIIT, I had a very major accident. Like IIIT days. Not when I was in IIIT, I was going home, and it was actually on the way home. So it has nothing to do with the campus, not on campus or anything. It was actually very major. I had to go. It was literally I went to the jaws of death and came back, and I had to undergo 3 major surgeries and skin grafts, everything. It was very major actually. So the thing is, when I came back onto the campus, the amount of support that was given to the faculty. Everybody thought I was nuts to everybody advised me, even my surgeon, everybody advised me that I could lose a semester and, rejoin in the next semester. But my love remained on campus. I wanted to be on the campus because that's where I felt alive. And my father also agreed that if I went back onto the campus, I wouldn't go into a depression or anything. I would rebound very quickly. And it was when I came back, there were a lot of doubts because that was a semester where a lot of tough courses like linear algebra, probability theory, a lot of, fundamental courses were involved. And I've actually missed about 1/3, half of the classes were already missed. And even after I came back to the campus, I still had to make a hospital visit every other day for dressings and everything. And I still had active wounds and everything. But faculty, Professor Jain, I still remember, the day after the surgery, she came and said, "You're alive, then celebrate your life." I was still in the, you're still in the sedation when she came because I was just out of OT when I came out. And there were still doubts about, how much of injuries, whether my life would be the same or not, or there was still a lot of doubts. But that one word, I still vividly remember if I close my eyes, those words about, you're lucky you came out alive. Let's celebrate and let's make something out of it. And I still remember, and that's the spirit. And that was probably the reason why I wanted to came onto the campus. And when I came onto the campus, I actually didn't lose a semester. I actually got a 9+ GPA that semester. That was the support that I actually got from my fellow friends and also the faculty. Like I said, I had to still go for dressings every other day. I had to miss classes and everything. Faculty was extremely supportive for me. And the liveliness, the life in the campus gave me the motivation to go on with the life. So it was one of the best experiences. IIIT gave me that confidence and, the comfort needed for me.
Oh, that is such a unique experience. And I'm so glad you came out of it and you're here with us today. So happy for you. And
Thank you.
so nice to hear. I've never heard the story before, and so nice to hear it. Parv, can you tell me your highlight moment in academics and out?
Sure, there are so many of them, but if I have to choose one, when I just recently joined the robotics lab in IIIT, I was given this drone, pre-built drone, and I was in a corridor and wanted to fly that drone. I did all the steps as per the tutorial, and I was so afraid that I might crash that drone, and I flew it with my laptop. It was a really magical moment controlling this drone. It was flying indoors. Eventually, I did crash it later on, but that day was really magical.
Yes, I can imagine the thrill of that. So, what about the outside academic highlight?
Sure. So I think outside, I was more interested in like literature clubs. So we organized many events, like bi-monthly events, and also movie screenings, and talk about different novels and comics and stuff like that. And it was really a great time. Like organizing those events, also taking part in them.
Wonderful. Rahul, we haven't heard from you. Your highlight and
Yeah,
inside academics and out?
yeah. So on the academic side, it is definitely one of my project from the electronic workshop 1 and 2 courses. So for the first time in my life, I was building a leader follower robot where the first robot was kind of following some of the guidance given to it, and the second robot was exactly following the trajectory of the first robot. So that was something which I was kind of really amazed by, seeing that I have built this thing and this is moving, kind of not so intelligent, but kind of intelligent. So that is something which I really liked. And then the second thing on the academic side I'm going to cover is I remember Professor Call saying around the end of semester in the last class, students, it is very difficult to fail in my class. So that is something which I remember. And on the non-academic side is something my 4 years life in terms of a great social life. So I used to have this friend of mine in the next lab, in LTRC lab, with who used to also work in the night, and we used to have a lot of philosophical discussions at 2 a.m. while we are going out of IIIT campus, just outside to eat something. So that is kind of a magical moment for me.
Very nice, very nice. Um, Now, the last question for today is what would be that one little piece of advice you would give for a student who's considering IIIT as a college to go for further education? If you had a little brother or sister, what was that one insider tip that you will give and share with them? I would like to go first with Parth.
Yeah, I would advise people to keep an open mind and explore new things, keeping balance between doubling down on what are your true passion and also trying out things that are outside your comfort zone. And if you join IIIT, you are going to have the best time of your life.
Thank you, Parv. That was a wonderful endorsement. Divya.
So same advantage, you're actually in the best research institute, and also Hyderabad, IIIT Hyderabad gives you the geographical advantage too, in terms of close proximity to all the companies, and also a lot of incubators on campus. So you're exposed to the entrepreneurship and, technology from very early on in your bachelor's degree itself. So just have an open mind. You'll get a holistic education, not just academics. It prepares you for life. Embrace that and enjoy.
Thank you, Divya. Meghna.
So I would say whether you are decided, not decided that what you want to do in your life, this is the best platform that I would suggest you to go to. You are exposed to ample opportunities of variety. You will find your personality grooming up like anything, and you will learn some of the major life lessons, like whatever field you finally decide to be in. It's your choice, and you can always anytime make that choice. You have examples on this panel who have changed their choice multiple times over the course of education and even after that. I mean, I can take my own example. I started in engineering, then I went on to management, and for initial period of time, I was in financial markets. Then I went to consulting. Then I finally switched again to an investment banking, capital fundraising. So it just keeps on changing. But there are few things that are common. It's about being excellent or trying to excel until you can do even 1 inch, 1 iota better. You do that. You take that extra pain and you excel. And that's what is most important. And that is what you will be inspired to do in IIIT, whatever be your domain, doesn't matter. And then attention to detail, because 20% of your work will give you 80% of the result. But that 80% of the result is there with almost 99% of the people around you. You want to be in the top 1 percentile. And for that, you have to push yourself to do that additional 80% of I would say diligence and hard work, so that you get that additional gain. And that's what this platform will inspire you and will encourage you. You will be pushed to your limits, and not just on a gas line, but even on the social life. See, there are ways to enjoy social life, and everybody has its own comfort zone, and then you can go out of them with your friends, and you expand your range of comfort zone. So just don't think about it. You should go for it. You should give it as a top priority.
Thank you, Meghna, for your perspective. Rahul.
Yeah, so I would add to Meghna, but before that, I would say when I was joining IIIT, I had both the options. I could have chosen CS, I could have chosen ECE. But as I mentioned briefly earlier that I loved ECE, I still love it. That's why I chose it. If given an opportunity, I will again take ECE. So yeah, so that is the thing. And having said that, the benefit of graduating from ECE in IIIT has been multifold for me. So while I was in IIIT, before I could get into MIT, I was offered by Qualcomm, which is an ECE company. Then I was offered a job from a gaming design company, which was hardcore CS job. And then when I graduated from MIT, I was again offered a job position in Samsung headquarters Korea, which is again an ECE company. And then right now I'm running my own business, and where I have architected the entire infrastructure of this company. We have already handled around 300,000 users, and the initial code base was written by me. So I would say this is again a hardcore CS job, and a lot of AI is going into it again on the CS side. So this is how IIIT trains you on ECE as well as on CS side. So the last one piece of advice which I will give to the upcoming students is do whatever you like most, and the dots are going to connect in the future.
Thank you. What a wonderful way of putting the ECE and CS together, and looking at it very holistically from both sides. What a wonderful endorsement of the institute you guys have given us, and what amazing journeys you have shared with us. Your perspectives also unique. Thank you for coming and being with us today. So glad to have alumni like you who are still connected with the institute and still willing to share your unique experiences with us. What a diverse ECE alumni panel we have today. We have Divya, who's stuck to core engineering. We have Meghna, who's gone into management. We have Rahul, who's an entrepreneur and started his own company. And we have Parv, who's gone into robotics and is going to work with a startup, and all with the same ECE base from IIIT. What a wonderful alumni panel we had today. I'm so happy that we had this opportunity to talk to you. This alumni series is all about you. It's all about celebrating your achievements, sharing your journeys and your learnings, and hopefully we will learn from each one of you to better ourselves. And thank you so much. Stay connected, stay young. For the viewers who are watching this, who may have questions, please put your questions in the comment section and we will answer them. And watch out for our next IIIT Alumni Speak episode on another interesting topic. Till then, stay safe, stay young. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Meenakshi.
Thank you, Meenakshi.